Well, hello there, Chick Chat. We are back live.
Yay. Yay. Hi, everyone.
Hello. I know no one's actually here yet. It's just us, but
Well, they'll be here eventually on the rewatch. Wave if you're on the rewatch. Let
if
Miss
you're
Ann know y'all are saying hi.
you care. Anyway, so we have a lot of interesting things this live. We're obviously going to go over episodes 10 through 12, the drop. We also have a little bit of tea that we got from, what is it? Tea with Ricky, or I'm so bad at remembering her channel name.
Story time with Ricky.
Time with Ricky. Yep.
Yeah.
So, and she is a real reporter, you guys. If once we get to Alex and all that tea, if you guys would please go watch her video, spread the word, because we need answers on this reunion, okay? And she deserves it because she did the work.
Yes.
So
agreed.
We're going to start getting into some couples. We're still going to go by couples, but then we're going to get into the cast party and all types of nothing burger that Netflix gave us. All those crazy, what was it? When they were teasing the next episode, almost everything that they teased was a misconception. So that was great.
I mean, this is the season of not a whole lot going on. So I get in those trailers at the end of the episode drops, they're definitely trying to keep us watching. But there's just not a lot going on.
No, that's why they had to make it all up.
And maybe that's fine. I don't know. I mean, I'm watching a show, so I want to be entertained. I did find myself like a little bored a couple of times, eating a couple too many snacks tonight watching this show because I wasn't as occupied. So, yeah. Well, but here we are. We're going to make it entertaining.
Well, we're going to start with a couple that's not really as entertaining, but here they are.
They did bring them all the way through to the wedding day up to the altar. So,
yes.
I was surprised actually to see that, but it makes total sense because supposedly we're going to see 4 weddings. So, that's the most we've seen in a while.
Yeah. But we picked back up with them where I guess TikTok left off. But honestly, I didn't really get much of a resolution out of that. Apparently, Sarah's just cool with whatever happened. I'm guessing it was an ex. Well, it seems like it was an ex from a while ago, according to him. And everybody seems okay with that. She seems like, it's fine. It was a while ago. I forgive you, whatever. And they just kind of glazed past it like it didn't really happen. So
they do.
It must have really been a big deal, but
I mean, I want to know what the accusations even were. I know that the video's up somewhere. Actually, I think Storytime with Ricky actually did another video about that one as well. But I know that they probably didn't want to put that on Netflix where their story is supposed to be their marriage, but I didn't get any. It wasn't giving, I'm being very honest with my future wife. And I think if he was being very honest, Netflix should have done a much better job of us feeling validated that Sarah felt comfortable. Because I feel like after that, I mean, I know religion and politics has always been, even since the pods, a big thing for the two of them that they have to continuously talk about, which I actually think is a great thing for a marriage as long as they can communicate about it. But it just seemed like it really pressed on that issue for her, where she's now just constantly trying to show him and tell him and teach him about women's rights and LGBTQ plus rights and, you know, why you're supposed to care about humans in such a way. And that's just what an exhausting thing to do. I wouldn't want to do that.
Well, he seems to already know these things. I think the real thing with her now is religion. Now that she knows that he's cool with gay people, he's got gay friends, he seems pretty all right with all that politically and everything. I think in the pods it was about, well, he just doesn't have a political stance, and she definitely does. And that was triggering to her. But now it's about religion. And my girl tried. She went to church and she looked miserable. Although I will say the sermon was and I go to church. That sermon was a little bit strange for me as well, but to each their own. But I'm all for going to church or whatever, but maybe that just wasn't the best first experience for her. But it seems to be a really big deal to her because her sister, her mother, like everybody knows that she's just not a religious person. And he is. He goes to church every week, and she's probably not going to go with him unless it's a dire situation, apparently. And I don't know. I feel like those kinds of things could be a mismatch. But then I also remember, especially when it comes to politics, my grandparents were on the opposite ends politically, and they were together for 60 years. So there is a way to coexist by having different opinions. It's just harder to do nowadays. And, because people really do get set in their ways and they don't want to conform or want to, sometimes it gets more heated. But I don't know. I think she's working it up more than it needs to be. And I think he almost doesn't even know she's going through this internal battle. Like, he's just kind of like, tra la 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 la, all throughout to the altar. Like, he just looks so damn happy. And I don't know about you, but I almost think she's going to say no.
I'm a little bit worried about that. I don't know if that's part of the production that we've been experiencing all these nothing burgers and they're just tricking us again because we're a bunch of dummies. But I am a little bit worried that she may say no. It seems like his indifference about her strong opinions is hard. It's hard for her to feel validated. I don't know. She just doesn't. He seems so meh about a lot of things. She seems so strong about a lot of things. And now it does seem like on her wedding day, her glow seems gone. I don't know. She just doesn't have that twinkle going on.
Yeah, and I think the sister and stuff in her ear. Well, this is the season of like meddling sisters or something.
Terrible
like
sisters.
I'm so glad my sister don't give a crap about anything that I do and vice versa. Because damn, this season was just the season of like sisters' opinions and stuff. But yeah, her sister and her sister's partner and everything were like, maybe we should pull her to the side and tell her to follow her head and not her heart.
I mean, they gave her kind of a hard time when they met him in this batch of episodes as well. They were asking a lot about their differences in political views and their differences in religion and saying that they need to have a lot more conversations about that. And I agree. But it seemed like it was coming from a place of scolding her rather than anything else like concern or love. So I thought that conversation was weird too. Yeah, it was all giving angry sister. And I mean, I'm an only child, but thank God I feel like at this point that I don't have a sister because holy cow.
You are quite lucky. You are quite lucky for that. Anyway, so yeah, we pretty much get brought up to their wedding day. I don't have much else to say about them. But other than that, we don't really see them very often. Also with Fabio, we don't really see them very often either. I feel like throughout these things, I mean, I don't have much to say about their date. I don't have much to say about much and nothing. Really, their big thing is religion now. And I don't know. I don't think she's going to say yes for some reason. But she could say yes, and they're just drumming it up. But there was a weird look I felt like they gave each other when they were about to say yes or no. So are they in like cahoots on saying no, or like what's going on here? He seemed a little too happy.
Are they in cahoots?
Yeah, like because they gave each other, it felt like this weird look at the end. Like, you can say no. Like, I don't know. Like, it just felt like they know what each other's gonna say almost. But I don't know. To each their own. That's just kind of my observation. I did also notice that he had a lot to say in his little speech, and she was basically like, "You're a wonderful, empathetic person, and I'm so glad to know you."
See, so my husband, actually, this is the only part that he watched out of all 3 episodes was them saying their vows that they said out of their own mouths. Mm-hmm. And my husband had the complete opposite effect. He listened to Ben's vows and he thought that they were really phony and robotic. Yeah. And then he listened to Sarah's vows and he thought that they sounded more genuine and loving.
Okay. I mean, I guess I can kind of see that it sounds more genuine because it is a little bit shorter, and he did kind of overdo it, I think.
The way that I took what I said to him was, I wonder if Ben wrote his out, and so he sort of edited them and made them sound nice and fluffy, and she did it off the cuff and just said how she feels.
Yeah, could be
But
either way. I
could be.
wasn't tear jerked, but he was a little bit. He's like, I just want to kiss you. And then she's like, we will. Which gave me like, remember when, was it the bald guy and the rich girl? Then they kissed after they broke up on the altar. Who was that?
Oh, yeah.
What's his name? He was also on Perfect Match, but I forget his damn name. He was one of my favorites on Perfect Match. It's gonna kill me because I can see him and I can see her.
Was her name Jessica?
No, oh my
But
gosh,
she was the Jessica. I know it. I want to call him Ed, but it's because he looks like this
Dude,
guy.
I wanted to call him Sandy, but I know his name isn't Sandy.
Hang on, I got you. Don't worry.
Someone let me know what his name was, but I feel like it starts. He was like, he had like paper plates and things like that. People weren't a fan of him.
Izzy.
I was close. It was Izzy and Stacy.
Paper plates.
I fly like paper, get high like plates. If you open up my cabinet, you gonna have a paper plate.
All right, yeah. So Izzy.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I don't have anything else to say other than I don't know for sure if that's actually going to be a yes or a no.
Mm-hmm.
But if we would like, we can move along. Do we just want to do Devin and Virginia right now?
Sure. Sounds
Let's get
wonderful.
into them. I want to see if I can find a more recent photo. Well, we can do this one real quick.
So I know this is skipping ahead a little bit, but I got a little concerned to see in the trailer for the next episodes that sounds like he just wakes up on his wedding day and now all of a sudden he's uncertain. This woman has spent 3 episodes asking him, is there anything you want to know? Is there anything we should talk about?
I know.
As if she has some big bomb to drop. And he's just doing no excavating, no question asking, no talking even. I don't think they talk.
I'm worried for them. I think.
And he talks like thoughts out loud and she just
I think they're a cute couple. I think they're a really good match. I think they might need more time to date. Honestly, that would be my opinion. But I don't even know. I was worried about them too when I saw that trailer. I was like, oh man, it seems like he's gonna say no, which I wouldn't be surprised because really, like you said, we're not seeing much from them. He says he now enjoys PDA, which I'm like, where? Other than when you guys did that little Ariana Grande music video in like Honduras. I haven't seen y'all really kiss much since.
Right.
But other than that, I seem like they align on a lot of things, on a lot of values and things like that, more so than Sarah and Ben. But it does feel like it's lacking something, this relationship. And I'm not really sure what it is. She is basically begging, like, is there anything else? And
and what's weird to me is when they were in the pods, he was so like, I have to know everything about you. You need to open up to me if I'm gonna propose to you. So maybe he just thinks now that he magically knows everything about her. And maybe there's a lot going on behind the scenes that they don't, that they're not showing. But it just doesn't seem like they talk very often at all. It doesn't seem like Virginia shares very much of herself at all. And I remember in the pods, she had told him that she's kind of guilty of not really trying in relationships. And I don't know if she really maybe knows how to try. Maybe this is the best she can do is like asking her man, is there anything you won't talk to me about? It's just, I don't know. I think they're really cute. I think they really are a great match, but I don't see the spark or the romance really for any of the couples this season. I do not see a passion happening here.
Although I do think Taylor and Daniel are just like too cute, honestly. I don't know. I think that
Taylor and Daniel are beautiful.
They're beautiful. And I also think Fabio and Monica have a lot of fun together. And you can tell that they just have like a blast when they're together.
Yeah, but you can
not so much romance.
Your best friend. That's what I'm saying. I don't see a lot of draw towards each other or physical anything. I know a lot of these couples talk about how they have a hard time with PDA and stuff like that, and so that might be hard in front of cameras, but I just am not feeling the romance. If this is supposed to be the season of romance because there's no drama, I'm feeling dry in the romance department. I'm not feeling like I want to go hug my husband when I'm watching this. I'm feeling dry.
Yeah.
We don't see them, which could be why Joe said, yeah, I do agree with that, Joe. We don't really see them.
Yeah, on a lot of the couples, honestly, any of those three that we mentioned, Virginia, Devin, Fabio, all them.
Who are we watching?
We're watching Lauren.
TV.
We're mainly watching Lauren and David, and then we get like a snippet of Fabio throwing pepperonis on a pizza. You know, that's what we see.
Yeah, and Ben and Sarah going to church.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, yeah, that makes sense, Joe. I can see that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, basically, one of their big things is this prenup. And he seems kind of hesitant about it. And I kind of get it. Like, a lot of people would be, I mean, they see a prenup as like you're preparing for divorce. But there's also post-nups and things like that. And I just think it's mainly about protecting, I guess, what you have. And it doesn't seem like the way she's got hers written up, it just seems like what's yours is yours, what's mine is mine. And then we'll just kind of divide whatever we accumulate together. It seems pretty standard and like what you hope would happen in a divorce anyways, right?
Yeah, I really think that the producers did the best job that they could in really stretching out this prenup situation because it really wasn't a big deal. Just another nothing burger here going on. I mean, I'm glad that I guess this was something that was talked about and sure entertained me for a little while, but this is also not a big deal. A prenup is a pretty standard agreement, and she was asking for a pretty standard prenup. And he went to his people and his attorney, and then everybody thought it was great, and then he signed it. And it's like, why did we drag this on for 3 episodes?
I mean, yeah, he just needed to read it over, which I think anybody would be like, okay, let me just read this over for a couple days.
Yeah,
that's it.
Hopefully everyone would do that.
And it was funny because it actually sparked a prenup, not agreement, but a prenup conversation between me and my husband. And we're basically like, you know, if either of us were to like start a business or something, we might do like a post-nup or something like that. But that doesn't mean we wouldn't give each other nothing. You know, obviously we're there for support and everything else, but there are some accomplishments that you do on your own. And maybe you want to retain that in case something happens, because you never truly know. You don't hope for divorce, but it's there. But yeah, her mother seemed to love him. It was funny when they were on that little, I guess, date with her mother and everything. For some reason, I've never brought this up in any of the other Love is Blinds. I don't know why, but whenever I see them meeting the parents, it just reminds me of me and my husband, because my parents literally met my husband one time, one time before offering him my hand in marriage. One time. And same thing with his side.
To be fair, you guys are already on that road.
Yes, but they barely knew the man. According to them, he was.
It's not like they went to dinner with him and they were like, Dean, please marry our daughter.
My dad kind of was. My dad really loves the military channel and all things military. So he was pretty excited, I think. I think he was just happy that I wasn't with some kind of low-life thug like I usually am.
Yes, Dean is a good man.
So, yeah, I mean, that kind of just reminded me of me. Although Love is Blind in general kind of reminds me of my situation with Dean, although we weren't blind, like I knew what this man looked like, but everything else, like instead of 9 days, I had 9 months of pods. So it was crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyways. No, her mom did really love him. I think that her mom more than admired him. I think she would have dated him right here, right now. I think she had a little crush on this man.
Yeah, she's like, he's amazing.
Love him.
I think he had the best answers for her. So I think, you know, tomato. I think that he said all the right things, but I think he actually meant those things. I don't have any reason to doubt Devin. I mean, he does work with kids. Their mom's a teacher. So it's just like a perfect little fit. He's almost got a better connection with the mom right now. Virginia, I almost see it more there.
It's true. And he seems like a good guy. But yeah, the mom, they were talking a lot more with that mom than they talked in quite a few episodes.
Oh, yeah. I didn't get much out of that.
In this picture, they kind of do.
Honestly, they kind of do anyways. They're like cousins or something, you know?
Distant cousins, yeah. I think it's the eyes for me.
Their
They both
skin
have
tone's similar. Yeah.
squinty eyes.
Yeah, they have the same. They're tall. They're kind of lengthy, like they're skinny, and they have similar skin tone, and yeah, they have similar eyes, kind of similar smiles. So I can kind of see it. Yeah,
Their whole face is the same.
same face. If she was a man, that would be her, and same vice versa.
Oh my
So,
Lord.
do we have anything else on them before we move on to Lauren and David?
I know they had also brought up the politics and things like that, and she kind of came right out and talked about what her views were in that situation. That also came out of a thing where she started this whole, is there anything else you want to talk about, sort of blah blah blah. I couldn't figure out what her intent was with that. She's trying to start an argument. She's trying to tell him a deep dark secret that she would like him to ask her about. She just trying to start a conversation. I don't know. But at some point she did bring up politics there too. And I've noticed that this has came up a lot more on Netflix and on Love is Blind. I mean, and I don't disagree with that. I think that's an important thing, especially in today's age, to talk about those things. I'm not saying that marriages have to agree on those things, but to talk about them, you have to have a way to have a respectful conversation with your partner, especially if you're not completely aligned. And I can't imagine after meeting each other for 3 weeks that you know everything about those kinds of values and stances. So I'm happy to see people talking through it, but he seemed indifferent here as well. So
yeah, well, he kind of reminded me of Ben here in a way. So
right, yeah, that's true.
yeah.
Joe says probably because it was an election year. I was thinking about that as a possibility as well. It's on a lot of people's minds lately.
Yeah, I could see that as, yeah, that's probably definitely it. I mean, a lot of things were happening around this time last year. It was like the start of the elections, and
Yeah, a lot of
all
people
the
were asking,
craziness.
do you vote and that kind of stuff as well. So
It felt like a PSA half the time. So,
I didn't feel like that. I felt like it was actually nice to see people have conversations instead of whatever happens online usually.
but we see the same political, I feel like, conversations every season almost, especially the Schmushmortion and stuff. Like, when
Well, there's
usually gets brought up
usually one
once.
of two stances to have, right? This way or that way. So I mean, it's not like there's a lot of flavor to it, but I do
They
think
could
it's
be in the middle. There could be people in the middle. I mean, I know I'm in the middle. I go everywhere. I go with the wind.
yeah, okay.
I have conflicting things on both sides. So I can see where like some of these guys kind of feel where they're like yes, but I have other things also on my mind that are, I mean, politics is important in a marriage, but to me it's not make or break, but to someone like you it might be. So I think that it
I'm
just
not saying
depends
it's
on the person.
necessarily make or break what the views are, but the conversations I think are important, and they're important to show.
Mm-hmm.
Especially right now, it's hard to have conversations with people about this kind of stuff, and I think it's just important to show. It's not as if marriages are talking about these things every day between husband and wife. That is not a typical thing, I think, unless you work in Washington D.C. and are part of that whole thing. But I do think when it does come up, it should be respectful and it should be open. Everyone should be comfortable with their opinions. So I like that they're talking about it.
They're gonna talk about it.
Talk about it. Okay, I ain't gonna say.
So I'm gonna bring up
Who's
the
next?
couple of the hour.
Oh,
Let me find them actually first. But we get a lot from Dave and Lauren, actually.
we do. You're right.
We do. I think that's pretty much
been
all.
watching.
It's like all of episode 10, honestly.
Which is so dumb too, because they're they ain't gonna get there.
That's how I felt watching them, honestly. I can't believe that we're still on her hooking up with someone else. Like,
It's
still.
really stupid to me. I know last time we talked about this, I said I didn't see a problem with it at all. I still don't fucking excuse my language, see a problem with it at all. I just don't.
Then the more I hear about it, I'm like, okay, dude. Because it just feels like he's latching onto it as a reason in a way.
The problem with it is the problem that he has. The problem that he is putting that as a barrier. But this man, Lauren, is a beautiful, wonderful woman, and I'm sorry to her, but this man never wanted her. Not for a single second. When they were on vacation, he was weird towards her. I think all of this thing going on was really just a way for him to get out. And the fact that I don't remember when she brought it up. I think when they actually did break up. The fact that she wrote his sister a letter explaining herself, explaining who she was and what her intentions was, and he didn't even give that to her to try to bridge that gap, tells me everything I need to know about what his intentions were this entire time. And if that is the case a week ago, then why on earth are you dragging this whole thing out and making this girl feel bad about her natural, normal habits that everybody has, needs and relationships? And I don't like this guy.
And on top of that, with Lauren, like, why are you letting this happen to you? At this point, I'd be like, you know what, dude? I would not let this man break up with me. I'd be breaking up with him. Like, are you well, sir?
Yeah. I think there were definitely times too where she was saying, I don't know how much longer I can go with this, or I don't know exactly what she said, but she was bringing up that, she's kind of at the end of her rope.
I don't blame her.
Yeah.
Joe says he's just upset that he has to explain things to his friends. I believe that too. I think he feels like embarrassed or something, even though she didn't really do anything. These are all mystery people. We can't even put a face to none of these people. They're all like, it's like when DJ Khaled says, don't listen to they. And it's like, who the hell is they? That's what, I mean, that's my thought process. I don't understand. I think Molly made a point, like, why wouldn't you stand up for her? Why wouldn't you just be like, she did that before. They weren't actually together. They weren't a fling. It is what it is. He's saying that she didn't expect somebody to be so close with that guy. I'm sure she didn't, but that's probably why she didn't even think to bring it up. She doesn't really care about that guy.
Right. I don't like the way he said that to her either. It made my skin crawl, actually. It just sounded so condescending. Well, you didn't expect the guy that you were hooking up with to be close with my friends and blah, blah, blah. You know what? I don't think her intention when she was hooking up with a guy a week before she went on a reality show, an experiment, as you keep referring to it as, about whether or not she was going to get married and walk away. A lot of these people go on and they say, I didn't actually think I was going to find my person. I didn't actually think I was going to get married. And guess what? Out of like 20 something people, only 5 or 4 of them make it to the altar. So I don't think it's inconceivable that she didn't put her whole life on pause. And if she had a little hookup fling that they were both clear they weren't going to get married to each other, then what in the F is the problem, sir?
Oh, I agree. And I also agree that he's toxic. And you know what? I kind of think he's either half in love with his sister or something's going on, because the thing is, I think he's overselling it. I think he was just over exaggerating how she felt. And I think that's also why he didn't give her the letter. The sister probably wasn't even as invested as he is saying that she is. He just wants to make it more difficult and give it a reason for why it's not going to work in the long run. Is, oh, my sister's this. But if you remember, when he told the sister that they broke up, she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm here for you, whatever. That wouldn't be my reaction if I wanted my brother to stop dating some hoe. I'd be like, good riddance, hoe.
Yeah, when are you going to come over?
Yeah, like, let's, yes, I'm here for you, whatever. But also, I think you made the right decision. No one said that to him.
Yeah.
So I almost think he's over-exaggerating what some of his friends and stuff are saying just to give a reason for breaking up with her. Like her and Molly both said in the pods, apparently he does like to push people away.
I think that is actually a good point, because he has been so resistant to Lauren seeing any of his friends or family. And I just thought it was so shady in the last batch of episodes when they left it off with them that she was ready and willing to talk to his friends, and then he wanted to go and start a fight with her and then be like, oh, I don't think that we should do this anymore, so I'm just going to leave and go hang out with them myself. Oh, and then come to find out that Molly was at the bar.
Right. It was giving so much Jeremy and what's her name? Sarah and Jeremy. Yeah. At first, I was like, oh my gosh, especially when she's like, you're here at 2 p.m. He's like, oh yeah, I went out to this place with my friends. Where exactly? Gives a name.
Wasn't Jeremy's fiance's name Laura?
Laura. No weird. All the connections here. Yes. She was trying so hard to communicate with him, and he always left her at the place alone. I did add a word in there, but yes, she was trying hard to communicate with that man. It was like talking to a wall. The only thing he could repeat back was, well, but my friend said that you were with another man and you had a boyfriend.
And the thing is that you will not facilitate the friends, the family, the sister, anyone meeting with Lauren and allowing that to get hashed out and spoken about and communicated about like adults. You won't allow her to look her accusers in the face and say, this is my story and this is what happened. And how on earth is he ever going to make a rational decision when he's not able to see both of these stories come face to face? That's when you learn the closest thing to the truth, and he's not allowing it to happen because he don't want it to happen, because he's probably making up most of it on his own, except I do think he's in love with his sister.
I think too. I think he is kind of either over embellishing what they're saying or something, because I bet when Lauren gets in front of them and is like trying to tell them, I'm not this way, I didn't do XYZ and I did do this XYZ, they're gonna be like, okay, we don't really care about that, we were just letting homeboy know something, that was it, that's it. Or not even that, they might be like, what are you talking about, lady? And he probably doesn't want that. It seems like he's doing everything in his power to not let the meeting happen. If I were her, I'd be finding these people on Facebook and just messaging them or something.
That's like, probably why she wrote his sister a damn letter, because she probably wanted to meet a sister that day, but oh, you can't meet my family because I have to smooth everything over because you're such a crazy lunatic outside of here. I have to convince them that you're okay to even meet and be in the presence of. So she probably wrote that girl a letter so that she could do that, and he didn't even give it to her. He didn't even give that opportunity. I think this guy is a schmuck.
Oh, for sure, schmuck.
Schmuckety behavior is all that I have to say. Oh, and then, I mean, we'll get into the all-cast party, but when they see each other at the all-cast party, by the end of it, this guy is wasted.
He's giving Cody Brown to me anyways. Remember when Cody was accusing Christine of being the reason him and Mary didn't get back together because of a dream that he had or something weird? Like, it's giving that whole situation where, did you make this whole thing up, sir? Because I'm not convinced anymore. He did. And I get that it might be weird for some people to date right before the pods, but get over it. You either get over it or you end it there. If it was really that big of a...
If she wasn't trying to get married, she wouldn't be there. She would have stopped. I mean, it's not like...
Well, there's some people who have bad ulteriors, but like, the thing is, if it's that big of a deal breaker for you, then just break up with her when you hear about it then and there and be done with it. Why let this drag on? Either forgive her, don't forgive her, get over it, don't get over it. But why drag this on for like 3-4 episodes for me? I wanted to break up with him myself.
Yeah, it was very ridiculous. I really think if he wanted to get married, just like she said when they sat in that weird movie theater and broke things off, if he wanted all this to happen, if they were adults, they could have sat down and very easily worked all of this out. Sure, he might be angry. He can be, entitled to those feelings if he feels angry about it, but that doesn't mean that it just stops there and nothing happens and then we live in this weird limbo land. He needed to really work things out with her, and this is not a big deal. There's nothing truly, in my opinion, for her to apologize for, because they didn't know each other when this was going on. That's just the weirdest thing in the world. But if she needs to validate his emotions that he's uncomfortable, or she needs to validate that she's ready to get married, whatever, I can support that. But that is about coming together and communicating and then moving forward and bringing this woman in front of your family and saying, I have vetted her. I love her. I'm ready to get married. I understand what happened and I am okay with it. And so you must be okay with it, or you can F off kindly because this is my wife. And this man is not a man. This man did not love this woman, so he never would have done that.
Yeah. I have a theory actually now. Now we're talking about this.
What?
I think he got, when he was with Lauren or whatever, I think they weren't moving as fast as he wanted to in Honduras, obviously, because that's why he was surveying everybody to see if they were doing things or not. But I think he kind of, I think he realized he maybe wasn't that into her. And I think he thought he wanted Molly. I think he was like going to hold on to this until maybe he met up with Molly to see how she felt about him. And then when they met up at that cast party and she was like Lauren's #1 fan, he was like, oh my gosh, I do love Lauren. And then he did a 180 after that, after talking to her. So I kind of think he was trying to keep an option open by playing her a little bit, because why hang on to it this long? And why did you flip so hard right after the breakup, right at the cast party?
He did do a complete 180 at the cast party. It was really weird, and it did seem to happen right after Molly. So I could see that. I think Joe is also agreeing with you here, saying that he wanted Molly for sure. So, and
which it would make sense if you think about it, because after he went out and saw them all out and stuff, I think he saw her. You know, he's like, oh, he never talked to her. And she also said she never talked to him, but he probably saw her, knew who it was. And then after that, it seemed like the whole thing got brought up again after it was laid to rest, right?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that a lot of it had to do with Molly at first too, but I don't remember what it was. But when I was getting ready, he was doing all this in Honduras. He was doing all this. He's been so closed off from her emotionally, physically, with his friends. He doesn't even barely live in their damn apartment.
Oh no, so I feel he spent one night there.
I don't know if he even spent one, but yeah.
And I think it was the night that she moved out, because he's like, I went back to our apartment and all your stuff was gone.
I don't even think that man slept there. I think he just came there to try to film and he realized he forgot that he broke up. This guy is probably a low-key drunk. I don't know. The way that he approached Lauren all drunk during his 180 and all of that, and just spoke a whole bunch of literal drunken nonsense to her. And then the editing wanted us to believe that they just ended that conversation holding hands, smiling at each other. I would have slapped that man. I mean, maybe I am wrong and I should not be hitting people. I don't encourage hitting people and I don't hit people. But if somebody wanted to come up to me and talk all drunkenly just after 24 hours after all this has gone on and say some weird stuff about love is love, and if I loved you, I would have done anything for you, and you didn't do anything for her, not a single thing. Yeah. So you don't love her. So why are you sitting here holding her hand, trying to smile at her all strange? I did not get it.
Yeah,
did not get it.
The day before, he was like, love is blind, but marriage isn't.
I remember now what I was thinking about when I was getting ready. Even in Honduras, they couldn't even connect on anything but the way that they were sleeping with each other and the sounds they were making and the positions that they were taking and how many times that they peed. And that was driving me absolutely bonkers. And it was clear to me then that they had no connection. I was hoping that it would form. And then this whole thing happened with the sister and the ex hookup and no, this couple had no hope.
Oh, yeah.
He probably should have chose Molly. I don't think this man would have gotten married in any case scenario, but he probably should have chose Molly.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that, too. Mm-hmm. I don't think either one would have really worked out for him. I think that he's too, I don't know, something's up with this guy. I just can't put my
He's weird. Something is weird. He's like, he talks about his family as if they're the king and queen of England, and it's so strange. You're not that special. You're not that cool. I hate people. I don't care how rich you are, what you own, or what types of stuff you're in. Like nobody's better than anybody. You're just not.
No, I agree.
And in fact, you're worse than a lot of people because of the way that you treat people, in my opinion.
That part.
This guy sucks.
That part. I'm not very sad to see him go. And Lauren, I can't go another episode of, well, he's in this building and he didn't know you broke up with him and this is what you said and that's not what you said and you said this and not like this just needs to end.
Joe says Lauren should have chose herself like Meg. Possibly. I think Lauren wanted to get married though. I think Lauren was more concerned about making it through the process with somebody. I think she did go there to get married, which is why I'm so frustrated why this man is so preoccupied with the fact that she was hooking up with somebody. We're all
you know what? She also, I will say, the first time he even walked in to their date, he was like, oh, you're 30? That means you already hit your peak or whatever. You're past your peak or something weird like that.
That means you're not attractive anymore.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but that wouldn't have got me to sit there and stay in the date. I mean, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying about like desperation a little bit. I think she really wanted to find a man, any man that will take her.
Any of them. And that made me kind of nervous for her. Like, I think she would have said yes at the altar, even with all this crap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, let's not forget that this is the guy who was asking women what's wrong with them too. So,
yeah, a lot of the guys were pretty icky this season, which I guess is a good segue into our cast party because we do actually get to see the singles who didn't make it to the engagements. Most specifically, pink-haired Meg, which I do, or pink-haired Madison, I should say, which I don't have for pink hair. But we do get to see these people again. We see Meg, Madison, Alex, and Mason. So many M names, so much vanilla. But
yeah.
The thing is, we'll start with Meg and Mason. I thought it was precious, honestly, that they got together outside of the pods. I was like, this is Brooke's dream come true.
I was happy to see it.
They even did the reveal. She's like, I got a reveal dress, so I still want to do a reveal. So they did that, and then they said they was gonna be friends, but we knew they wasn't gonna be friends. And they came in holding hands as a couple, and the jealousy I could feel radiating off of Madison.
It was this face, the one she's making now.
She was not happy. Yeah,
you know, for some reason I don't feel for her that much, and I get that she had a connection with Mason and everything, and I feel for her now knowing what we know about Alex that we're about to talk about, that she had the connection she had with Alex, but that's such his life. I don't know. I mean, they were not the right fit, Mason and Madison.
No. I do agree that she was so jealous.
Yeah.
You could feel daggers. And she even wanted to try talking crap about, I just didn't like how he handled us in the pods. It's like, okay, girl, well, nobody's perfect in them pods for one. You're trying to decide between a couple of people. You were kind of a little bit manipulative. You told him if he wasn't going to tell you right now that he was picking you, then you was out kind of thing. Like, you were being weird.
Mason was her number 2.
And she wanted him to choose her over Meg, even though I think she was going to still choose Alex over him.
Exactly.
I did not like that about her. And then she comes in wanting to be a mean girl. You can be a mean girl as much as you want about Alex because that man ain't nothing. But I just feel like you need to leave Meg and Mason alone at this point. You've done enough.
Yeah, let's not be jealous about your number 2, okay?
Done enough, Khaleesi. You've done enough.
I think Mason and Meg were each other's number 1. And not to be hierarchical about it, but I think that they were genuinely...
For a while, I think.
Yeah, I think they were genuinely, authentically more attracted to each other than Madison and Mason.
But I do think I think the moment she chose Alex as her number 1 is when you see him with this damn alien bear. I mean, she never gave Mason that alien bear. I think she felt more...
And I always wonder, Alex went, with the alien bear, probably back to the pods or whatever, like the men's quarters, because he asked if he could sleep with it overnight. And I just wonder if Mason saw it and if he knew what that was and who that belonged to. I have always wondered that.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder too, because you would think Mason and Madison would have had those conversations about the alien bear as well, unless they didn't get that deep. And she only brought it up with Alex. That's a possibility.
Possible.
PF says the men never talked about their connections, I guess. I think I remember that because it seemed like Alex was finding out that Mason was her match when they were on like a date or something after they already broke up. Right? Am I right? I'm sorry. I have them pods. It was too much pods for me. So
I know people were saying that the men were not saying names as much. They were trying really hard not to say names. But I feel like that's a personality trait maybe you get to know at some point, is that they have an alien bear that they sleep with, but maybe that's just something intimate she only shared with her number one. But no, I do agree, PF. I know a lot of the men were saying that they were trying harder not necessarily not to talk about having connections, but just not to say names.
She gonna regret giving that man an alien bear to touch, I swear.
Facts.
Is it time, you think? Are we ready?
Be?
We ready to get into it?
To the debauchery that is Alex.
Yes.
Have y'all heard about this?
We're gonna pull this up. Yeah, so there's been some rumors going around about Alex from, what is her name again? Ricky?
I think it's Ricky or Riki.
We're gonna probably butcher. We're gonna butcher her name. I'm sure of it, but her name is Storytime with Ricky, and she is a full-fledged reporter. She's got the scoop on all this stuff. So she put out a video, was it yesterday, about this?
I think it was yesterday or the day before, yeah. But she has put out a couple videos too about a couple of the different cast members. I will say, if you're not familiar with her, definitely go look her up. It's Storytime with Ricky. I think it's RICKKII. But be prepared if you do watch the videos. Some of them do have spoilers in them. I think she does warn people about them, but just be prepared for those kinds of things if you do go watch. But definitely go check out her channel. She also has, I think, the video of the crying girl related to Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look up her little channel real quick. Yeah, definitely look up her stuff. She has all the tea on Alex. So let's get into it. Apparently, before Love is Blind even announced its cast, or we seen him probably at the reunion, because it was him, Fabio, and Brittany, I believe, at the reunion of last season.
Right.
Apparently, there's a group called Are We Dating the Same Guy? And I've never heard of these groups, but this is what social media was made for, honestly. These girls go on this group and they try to see if they're dating the same guy and if there's, weird things about him, if he's normal, I'm guessing, this or that, or if he's cheating or, whatever. And Alex came up on there, and apparently there were many stories that came out. I guess we'll first start off with the fact, I don't know if it's a fact, actually, it's being alleged that it's all alleged. All right, we're going to put us under the umbrella of alleged, but she does have quite a bit of evidence to help back this up. So I guess we will see. He was having, allegedly, parties at his house as a 20-year-old man with teenage girls. And it looked like from the photos, it was almost all teenage girls. And it looked like there was a lot of drinking, a lot of rug use, a lot of just whatever. And we all know what happens at house parties. It seems like it was being said that he was alone with minors. It's also being alleged that when he gets girlfriends, he wants them to look younger, wear braces. I mean, who suggests for someone to get braces to look younger?
Yeah.
That's a whole oral day. Like, you got to attach
a day. That's
that's a whole, like, I would say surgery, but it's not really surgery. I've had braces before, but like,
Don't you go to the oral surgeon though to get braces? I
the
mean, it is
orthodontist, and it's not a
okay.
surgery. They just stick them to your teeth, like
Right, right.
glue. But it does take a whole like hours of your day, and then you have to have these braces on your teeth for months, if not years, because
That's the
wild
stupidest
get
thing I've
braces.
ever heard a man say. I've heard a lot of men say a lot of stupid things, especially on Love is Blind, but that's about the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Do you imagine going to the doctor's office and being like, yeah, my boyfriend wants me to get braces, so I just want braces. Like, you don't even need them. You just want to get them because your boyfriend is recommending you get braces. It's disgusting, but whatever.
It's weird. The whole thing is weird, and it only gets weirder with this man.
Oh, yeah. It gets a lot weirder. So apparently the ex that he refers to on Love is Blind, the one that cheated on him and all this other crap, you know, he did spew a lot of stuff. He said that he was unpopular, he had an afro, he always wore a purple sweater. And then we see photos of him in high school and he was popular. He had a music video, which like the dude can sing. What's he doing in a music video? I don't understand. I'm gonna have to look that up later. But apparently he was none of those things that he was trying to play off to be. He wanted to pull at my heartstrings. I'm always going to dislike him for that. Yeah. And for many other things right now. It's almost like giving Tyler. Remember how mad we were about Tyler? I'm just as mad about Alex at this point because he tried to trick me. And luckily we have someone like Ricky giving us the tea because it turns out that this is one of the photos that she did share as well to kind of prove that it was Alex at this house at these parties. You can see his smug mother face.
Yeah. You know, I don't know this photo, not that I have any trauma, but it's like triggering to me and that it triggers a lot of memories. And I feel like as 16 to 19-year-old girls, we've all been at a party like this with a guy that's too old that buys the booze, and then, you know, not every time something crazy happens, but something crazy sometimes does happen. And we all know those types of guys that hang out with young girls because they can't get along with women their age because they're trash. Yeah, so I don't doubt any of these women's stories, but they are, again, all allegations.
There are allegations, but there are some photo evidence, honestly. So I don't know. I kind of am leaning towards it's probably true, but for the sake of Chick Chat and for the sake of us, we're just going to keep saying alleged. But these pictures are damning. The evidence she has is damning. And she has a lot in this video. She has screen grabs of locations of the pictures. The locations are matching up. Phone numbers are matching up. Lease agreements are matching up. So I'm almost convinced. I mean, she's almost got me convinced, but
She definitely could take a lot of those to a court of law and possibly could prove a case for sure. But you know, when I heard about this stuff, I'm not going to say that I wasn't disgusted because I was, especially being an adult. I know those types of men and what they are, especially now that I'm not young enough to be fooled by them. But I wasn't completely convinced yet that, you know, maybe he sort of grew out of it. I guess I was thinking as I was hearing some of this in the story, like maybe he grew out of this and he's a better person now and all of that. But then when I heard the rest of what we're about to disclose, Joe said, wow, I knew there was something weird about him when he was strange about attachment. Yeah, I was talking about this earlier too with Anne. I don't know if I don't think we were filming then, but
I don't think so. I think this was like earlier in the day when we were ranting about it.
Yeah, when we were ranting about, and I started ranting about, I thought that the fact that he was preoccupied about attachment was also super weird and a way for him to sort of pigeonhole women into being crazy and being a certain way and him being right. And he seems so preoccupied, especially in the text messages that we're about to talk about, with him being right and good. But yeah, it's about to get worse because I'm not going to say I wasn't disgusted, but I wasn't quite convinced that he was to his core a horrible person until this next part.
Yeah.
Take it away.
We get into some text messages between him and his former girlfriend. She claims And you can see in some of these text threads that I don't even know where to begin, honestly, but we'll start with his essay. He had an essay that he was doing for a class.
Like a literal essay with an E.
Yeah,
E-S-S-A-Y,
real essay.
not an
Yeah.
S-A-S.
Although we'll get to that too, but
but not to be confused at this moment with a school paper.
Yeah, he's doing a school paper, and he talked about how his school paper was basically, going to probably get him an F because of the content of the paper, which he was trying to almost compare. So I guess the assignment was to compare replacing someone's food before they notice with something that you've done to an extreme.
It was the theory of utilitarianism, which is essentially saying that as long as everything is done for the good of the whole, or that there is no net negative, then technically it's not morally bad. Now remember here, keep this in mind, we're talking about morals, not laws.
Yeah.
Morals,
so
not
in
laws.
His paper, he wants to compare that whole situation of replacing someone's food before they notice to, for better words, essaying a girl while she is unconscious and she doesn't know it happened, and how it benefits all of them.
And the woman that he was getting the peer review from did bring up, how is this a benefit to somebody to essentially R them? And he said in utilitarianism, which is why he was writing the paper, that it doesn't always have to be a benefit, but sometimes as long as it's a neutral outcome, that it's a net positive. So he was trying to say that this was a neutral outcome for her because she was unconscious and had no memory of it. Exactly, Joe. Exactly. Which is why we're trying to talk about this. I know Ann and I are just a small channel. But we both agree as well that this needs to come out and be very viral before the reunion happens. I'm not sure if the reunion has been taped yet. I know they usually tape it pretty close to when it airs.
Yeah.
And it is airing next Sunday. So we agree.
After what they did to Trevor with the time clock, I need Alex in the room with a time clock.
Oh, I need him with a time clock. I need him with some of these girls as fathers in another room with a time clock. This guy is gross. This guy is gross. He wasn't talking about this as a what's the word I'm trying to say? As a possibility, as if it never happened. He was actually saying this is something I did.
Yeah. It's disgusting, yeah. And Joe asked, did he do that or is he fantasizing it? It sounded like he did it, right?
It sounded like he was saying that this is something that he did. I don't know if he put that in the paper, but the text messages, I don't know if you screenshotted any of them. But again, go check out this full video with story time with Ricky. I think it's like a 20-minute-ish video. It's not super long.
Not even.
Yeah, so go check that out for the full thing. She has a lot of screenshots of a lot of text messages, and it sounds like from the text messages, he's getting some peer review from another woman, mind you. And it sounds like he's admitting to her that this is something that he has done, and he's trying to justify it with this utilitarianism theory, which again is about morality, not about laws, because it is completely illegal to R somebody.
Oh, yeah. And I'm actually shocked that his professor didn't report him. In fact, he got a 79 out of 80.
Yeah.
That is shocking.
Maybe he didn't make it clear in the paper that was maybe he just kept everything in theory.
I would pay to read that paper. I can only imagine. Because it seems like he was, when she was trying to negate his paper and say, I think you're going a little extreme here, basically. She was trying to almost in a different way, like roundabout way, say that. He was like, I think you have autism and don't understand. Yeah. Sir, what? Yeah. For one, that is super offensive, especially for people with autism. They are smart people. In fact, much smarter than yourself. They, like with my brother has autism, he has Asperger's syndrome. He's a smart person. He just lacks social cues.
No, I think what Alex said there just only proves that he is a complete idiot. We don't need to even I mean, he just doesn't even know what he's talking about with that part.
Yeah, she's just disgusting, honestly. And I'm more and more convinced by the moment. So basically, as they are talking, because we're still going on with the ex-girlfriend, because there's a couple of females that get brought in and out of this.
Yeah.
But she is the main one I'm thinking that they talk to. There isn't, so I'm not going to try to confuse too many things. So we're just going to keep going on with what she said. There is another point in their text message thread where it seems like the law was after him for something he did.
Yeah, it seems like he was kind of freaking out about if like his lawyer had let him know that it was sort of just a wait and see if there was going to be charges pressed on him. He wasn't clear in the text messages what those charges might be, and he was talking about how he was super worried that the police would just show up on his doorstep at any time. And you know what? That's what happens when you commit a crime. You did not commit some morally gray area type of thing, like steal somebody's lunch out of their refrigerator and replace it before they got home. That's a moral gray area. You committed a crime, and for that, if somebody knows about it, especially the police, they're going to show up at your door and they're going to charge you to the hopefully fullest extent of the law. But none of that happened here.
No,
because he ended up on this show. And good question,
That is
I
why.
have no idea.
Yeah, I don't think Netflix
I
has
think
any idea.
probably because there were probably allegations, but there were obviously never any charges. I don't think they would bring someone on the show that had charges. But,
No,
I am not shaming any kind of victims of any kind of essay, but I think that this is also a good reason too why if you have any ability in you to think that you could get through making a report of what somebody did to you, then you most certainly should.
I will say I find it interesting he even went on a show having this kind of history. Like, you really didn't think any of this was going to come out against you at all by going on a national TV show. Are you serious, sir?
Right.
If you were really trying to keep yourself away from the law. And it sounded like in the text message when he's talking about police maybe showing up at his door and being so upset that his Facebook got shut down a couple times and he was freaking out about it. Who knows why? Who knows what's on that Facebook? It sounds like
I'm sure you were talking to women all kinds of sideways like you do now and sharing all kinds of sociopathic tendencies. One of his, I don't know if it was the ex-girlfriend or if it was one of the other women, but somebody said that their parents were worried that this man was a sociopath, and he was basically saying like, so what if I am a sociopath and there could be a benefit to that and blah 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 blah. How, just stop it. How weird are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm not. Anyway,
I think maybe some proof that he is a sociopath, the fact that he came on the show knowing who he is and what he's done to people. He has no capacity or any idea to even recognize that he's done something wrong and hurt people. Even in the text messages, it doesn't even seem like, even when women are saying, I'm triggered, this is, I don't want to talk about this, he's like, has no
empathy for that.
Doesn't compute. He doesn't get it.
Yeah, and when they do talk about that, he's like, well, does it still affect you? And they said, well, no, I mean, it was a long time ago. I was able to compartmentalize it. And then he has the nerve to tell somebody, because she's expressing to him that she got essayed when she was 9, apparently. This is all alleged, remember, in a public pool. And he says it's weird of him to do that there. Not in general. There.
In a
public pool.
Yeah. And then went as far as to ask, well, were you asking for it? A 9-year-old at a public pool.
Yeah. Probably. Oh my gosh. The amount of jaw that dropped when I even saw that part alone. Who the hell says that about a child?
I hate that there are people like this that exist on this earth. And
they belong in jail.
They belong somewhere. I mean, as far as I know, I'm not sure if we can accuse him. I mean, we can accuse him. I'm not sure if we can convict him of a crime, but he belongs somewhere. People that think like this are just a special type of sicko. He is a sociopath. He's psychotic.
Oh yeah. And PF says this man needs to go to jail. That's right. If any inch is true, he's going to hurt someone.
Yeah.
Or he already has.
Well, it sounds like something was brought to somebody's attention. Maybe his lawyer was able to get him out of actually getting in trouble. But yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I
agree that he is either on his way or he already has in some roundabout way. It sounded like when he was confiding in a different girl that he met on Hinge, allegedly, that he is like confided, like almost like he wanted to do things like that. He had like fantasies of it, but maybe he hasn't done that yet.
Yeah, he called it a mental illness. My hunch is that he's probably confiding in that he has fantasies about R-ing people, which is a sexual disorder. But I don't think that's things that you share with people openly unless you're receiving like intensive psychotherapy about it. But it's not something you talk about as like, I don't know, small talk or foreplay. Madison did really save herself, PF. You're very much right. And the fact that Madison met this man after the show at the airport and he's all, oh, please stay with me, blah, blah, blah. I mean, this girl's intuition knew exactly right. And the whole time in the pods, this guy is trying to get Madison not to trust herself, not to trust her own emotions, not to trust the fact that sometimes people in this world don't have the best of intentions and they're shady as F and they're disgusting. And this whole time he's trying to get Madison to just think that he's this sweet as pie little man who was picked on. And, you know, I thought that Madison was going to rip this man to shreds. Come to find out this guy is a literal predator.
Monster. If any of this is true. If even, you know, like Ricky said, where there's smoke, there's fire. And even if a fraction of this is true,
any single one of these stories is true. And Ricky went through and she verified his phone numbers, his addresses, his leases, anything she could get where your phone geotags photos and the girls were sharing photos, all the addresses were on there verified. I mean, this is not a conspiracy theory. I think this is pretty well verified.
Allegedly verified. But honestly, I believe her. Look at the evidence. Even the couple of photos that I took, the one photo that I took.
No, that's him. Totally. Yeah.
That's him on a couch with a girl snuggled up to him, probably underage, which is why she's probably crossed out. And yeah, you see minors drinking at his house. You see like all this stuff. And I know he was 20 and maybe these girls were only like 3 years younger than him, 4 years, but that's a gap. That's still not okay. That's still not legally okay. And
those are just the creepiest guys to me. The 21, 23, 24-year-olds who hang out with 17, 18, 19, 20-year-olds. Those are the grossest men.
Oh yeah. I think
they can't get along with women their own age because they're not worthy.
And I think Madison was spot on when she said, like, he's a liar. He's this. I wonder why she said he was a liar. I wonder if she found out any of this, if she even went on that "are we dating the same man" thing. She might have found out some things on her own. I almost wish, like, I don't wish this for Madison, but I almost wish they would have got engaged just because I think that would have made this story blow up earlier. I think he definitely would have. I think he definitely would be on the spot with the Lachey's. More so than Trevor. I mean, Trevor did some crappy things, some horrible things, but this guy's talking about straight up essay in these text messages.
And really going back and forth with himself about whether or not he has a mental illness that he can or can't control, about his urges to do this. And going as far as to, I think he has some strange fetish about sharing these ideas with women. And then when women say that they're triggered, because let's be real, a lot of women have been SA'd at some point in their life and they don't want to hear about some guy fantasizing about SAing women. All of a sudden he's like, what's wrong with you? I can't believe that you would be so invalidating to me and make me feel like such a piece of crap, then turn around and call them a piece of crap. It's wild. Go watch this video, y'all. It's just wild.
Yeah, you guys got to watch these videos. We need to reconvene next week, and hopefully more comes out by then. I hope more survivors come out or something or whatever, because it sounds like she even tried to get a hold of a couple people that wouldn't kind of get a hold of her back, maybe because they're still traumatized. It sounds like the girlfriend lied about cheating on him just so he would leave her alone.
Yeah.
And mind you, and some of these texts are weird. Like he gets into fights with people, and then at the end he's like, "Well, I'll always be your friend."
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
weird. Like I don't know. He rubs me the wrong way, but he kind of, I don't know. At first I felt bad for him with his sob story, but then now to learn all of this, I can barely.
And that his sob story might not even be real.
It doesn't seem to be.
Someone did bring up an idea, I think, in her comments that is just a possibility, maybe, but those pictures look like him in high school, and there were other pictures of him too, and maybe he was all pimply and disgusting in middle school, and then he had his little glow up. But again, I don't trust this man. I don't trust a word that he says. I think he's a sociopath, so who knows?
Well, she seemed to have a date. She said this happened in 2015, a lot of these photos. And he would have been 20 years old in 2015.
Right. So then he very well could have been an ugly kid in high school, middle school, whatever. But again, I just don't believe it.
But she did also show a yearbook photo of him where he did not seem ugly.
But that was the high school yearbook.
Yeah, true. He won't wear no purple sweater, though. If I wore a purple sweater every damn day, it's going to be
nice hair. He had no pimples. He was looking fine. I think this guy is a liar in more ways than one.
Ugh. There's always one of these guys every season, honestly, that you're like, how much worse can it get? You're right. You're right, Joe. He's a con artist. And the show is getting dangerous. You know, and you hear about this stuff behind the scenes. There was the season where they didn't even show a couple because it was so volatile. There was, I forget who the names were. I remember he was a fisherman or something.
Yeah, and she was a veterinarian, I think she was.
Something like that. And they actually went all the way pretty much to the wedding. And they had to cut her out. The editing was weird that season. And then last season with Tyler and those kids, and now him and Ashley are getting divorced. Like, yeah, I feels like a lot of these people, there's always going to be one weirdo that comes on here for clout, which I don't know why they do this when they have so many skeletons in their closet. It's just like, why not just sign your own warrant?
Yeah. I mean, people, I think, like, don't police officers always say that a lot of times killers will come back to the scene of the crime? I mean, people have this weird way once you've done something bad or you're, I don't know, a rotten apple, I guess, just going back. It's just weird. I don't know what humans' preoccupation is with viewing their own shit that they caused.
Yeah. I don't get it. I don't really get it either.
I do agree, Joe. I think the show is getting dangerous. I also think the concept itself is dangerous. I think they kind of got lucky the first couple of seasons that they didn't have a bunch of whack jobs on there. Dating is dangerous. You meet a random person and then you get to know their lives based on what they would like to share with you. And everything else is a mystery. Dating is dangerous. And then on top of that, you add a commitment to a television show to marry this person, actual legal contract to marry this person. Yep. This show is very risky.
I feel like they should almost have that same thing that they have at, what is it, Married at First Sight, where they give them the annulment option after a few weeks.
Oh, yeah, like, definitely.
Like, let's meet up and see if we want an annulment.
I'm sure that they do. I mean, an annulment is possible for any marriage.
After a certain point, I think.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, there does come a point where you have to get a divorce and not an annulment.
Joe asked, could he still get caught and arrested? I mean, I guess it's possible. I know there's always a statute of limitations with this kind of thing. And Ricky did acknowledge that it's been almost a decade since all of this happened. The other thing is that
there could be other people, so who knows?
There could be, but that's what I'm kind of getting to here. Is the other thing is that you need an accuser that's willing to go through the legal process and accuse him of this. Having somebody, even if you witnessed it, I mean, I guess if you witnessed it, maybe you could make a legal report, but people have to be willing to go through the legal process. And that is not an easy thing for victims to do, especially victims of SA. It's not a safe place typically to be in these interview rooms. And sometimes people are treated very poorly. So a lot of times victims don't feel comfortable coming forward, but that's the only way to get somebody arrested is to have an actual victim or somebody who has real firsthand experience seeing this. Not just we read about this online and we heard, that he's a possible artist. I wish that that's the way that it could work, but imagine, anyone on this channel could call me an artist and then I would be caught up in all of that too. So we have to use the legal system.
Yeah, we do.
As much as it sucks. Hey, User Alien, we're happy to see you joining us. User Alien says, I knew I couldn't stand him. Yeah, he's...
Are you good, User Alien?
We catch User Alien on Friday nights, okay? User Alien be hitting the bottle a little bit.
I know last time we were having a chuckle about some of your comments. Because
they're so excited to chat with us. They don't care.
We loves it. We love
User Alien.
Anyways, yeah, I agree with everything that you said. I think there definitely would need to be an accuser, and it sounds like at one point there was one when he was talking originally about all like cops showing up and stuff. He said, I think the word, now don't quote me completely, go rewatch her video, but I'm pretty sure at the bottom of these text messages there's a little sentence that says them coming back again to question me. So that means he might have been questioned before about something.
I remember him saying again as well. So yeah, it sounds like something could have happened a couple of times. And yeah, I mean, even when things are reported, it doesn't always mean, sorry, I'm driving. It's okay, User Alien. We're happy to have you here.
We saw you were hitting the bottle.
Oh, yeah, don't be hitting the bottle if you're driving.
Yeah, that makes sense. We must catch you every day after work.
Yeah, no texting and driving. Yeah, we know you're here now, so you just stay safe.
Yeah, you just watch.
Yeah.
You like that video, though. Maybe give us a share if you hit a traffic stop.
Yes, only at a red light.
Only at the red light.
You know what? I'll do
the
it
red
for
light
you,
district.
User Alien.
Not the red light.
I'll do it for you. I got a sponsored share by User Alien.
Okay, let's do it. Man, but yeah, a lot of tea came out about this guy. I mean, I could probably talk about it for hours. I was appalled. I was shocked a little bit. I mean, he definitely put on a good front for us and for TV. I don't know who the hell he thought he was fooling, because us women, we love gossip and we're going to talk to each other. It sounds like she talked directly to these women. And obviously, I mean, they gave her all these text messages. There were some things that were bleeped out, certain names, certain words, things like that, words that aren't appropriate. But I believe it, especially the way he kind of was at the cast party. He seemed to kind of stay away from Madison. You know,
he did.
Why didn't they have a conversation?
It was almost like when he walked in, he asked somebody else, who are all those girls over there? And Madison was one of the ones that was introduced. It was almost as if he didn't even want people to know that he met her.
Yeah.
So weird.
Yeah, it was strange. Did you think it was
totally
weird?
dodged a bullet?
I almost felt like they were going to have a conversation, because she was like, if he even tries to talk to me, I'm going to tell him kick rocks, basically. Yeah. And then we didn't see them talk. So I was wondering, did they try to talk and it just went like that? Or did they not talk at all? And he was like, oh no, this girl.
That's a good question.
It is a good question.
There was a lot of buildup to Madison. And I mean, we definitely heard her side of the story with Alex and everything, but we definitely didn't see them communicate at all.
Yeah.
And that can't be because of this stuff. They couldn't have cut him out because of this stuff. Because this stuff,
they would have cut him out completely.
Yeah.
I think, if there was this stuff, I think it, with Trevor, it came out after the show aired, so there wasn't. They didn't cut Trevor out either, because it was already after the episode aired that all his crap came out. So
let's just really hope this comes out at the reunion. And I mean, I don't know why he'd be at the reunion though either, unless we're having a Trevor.
Why was Trevor there?
Yeah, well,
Trevor didn't need to be there.
Unless we do Trevor in the timer box, but we could. I'm down. He deserves it more than Trevor did.
Oh yeah, and Trevor messed up big, but this is bad.
This could be the only justice truly that this man gets brought to. So I hope and pray that all this gets aired out on the reunion, even if he's not there to speak up for himself. You know what? I hope he's not there, and then they just talk about it anyways. They give a little PSA about avoid this man.
Some PF asked, did Madison know? I don't know. I can assume not to this extent, at least. But I do wonder if she knew something, because she did call him a liar and all these things. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what she knows. I think it's possible she might have saw something. She might have saw he's weird or a creep, or maybe it's had a couple conversations with people about him. But yeah, I mean, if what's his name, if Dave could find out about Lauren hooking up with some dude, I don't find it impossible that Madison could hang out in certain circles that know about Alex. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I feel like if she knew about this, I almost feel like she would have called it out.
Yeah.
Because she was ready to call everything out when she was at that. She wanted to throw Mason out of the bus just for things that we already saw in the pods out of jealousy. But
you know, my hunch earlier was right, though. I thought that when they teased that, I get these names so mixed up. When they teased that Madison said that somebody is a liar, it was about Alex and it wasn't about Mason.
Yeah.
I was right.
He was right. Oh my goodness, is things okay over there, Miss Brooke? Anyways, anything else on this Alex topic? I know we've been kind of going on about it for a minute.
We have been going on about it, and it's disgust.
But it is I would say this Alex topic was more interesting than all three of these episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say that it is a lot more interesting than all of what I've watched.
We'd have been gotten off the live 30 minutes ago.
Honestly, to be real, we definitely would have already been done. But yeah, I hope we see him again at the reunion. 2
other couples to cover, though, right?
Yeah, but they'll be fast.
Yeah,
they'll be pretty fast. We just have Fabio and Taylor and Daniel left. I keep just only calling them Fabio, Fabio and Monica.
Yeah, but everybody knows.
We all know who Fabio is, right? We're not that young. I hope. We all know who he is. It's Joey. Anyways,
wasn't that movie in the 80s? I mean, we weren't alive in the 80s.
It's not a movie. He's a person, and he was in all romance novels and all types of stuff. He was just a man. Fabio. He was Italian.
A real man?
Yeah, he was a real man. He was just on a million romance novels. Man. Look him up.
I'm looking him up. He was born in damn 1959, okay? I'm too young.
He was big in the romance novel industry, and he was on plenty of horseback. If you remember walking into libraries and seeing the adult section and seeing the man on horseback, that was more than likely Mr. Fabio. In fact, you know what? Let's get this man off my screen because I'm sick of him.
No, don't worry, Anne. I got you.
Oh, perfect. That's him. That is Joey. Joey's cousin. Which is why I laughed so hard when Monica was like, you only like Italian 6-foot-tall men. Like, who is Fabio? Fabio is an Italian 6-foot-tall man with long locks. What do you mean?
It's true.
But yeah. Oh, one last thing about the Alex thing. Make sure that we do go watch the full clip about the Alex allegations. It is, I think, even titled Alex Allegations at Nikki. Is it Tea Time with Nikki?
Story time with Ricky.
Story time with Ricky. Story time with Ricky. Sorry, I'm going to butcher this because I'm so bad at remembering names, but
I know we're really trying to give you your props, girl. I swear.
We are. We're not trying to steal the story. We're just trying to get this story out more because we want this stuff talked about. This is the stuff I want to hear about on the reunion because I need this man to explain himself. And I kind of want other people to come forward. If anybody has been victimized by this guy, I hope that
this is what the thumbnail looks like.
Yep, that's it. And yeah, but you can see, you got to put it down a little bit because you were mainly just showing what we were talking about.
Which is the same. This is wild. Amber's wild. This man's wild. Everything's wild.
Everything's wild. So if you missed it and you're just joining, if you want to hear all the allegations about Alex, go back about like 20-30 minutes. We definitely discuss this in depth and our opinions. But do you think, actually, before we get off the topic of him, do you think if him and Madison would have made it on the show, it would have even gotten to the weddings before all this kind of stuff came up? Or do you think it would have had an Ashley type of situation where everything comes out after they're already married
I mean,
or
it
whatever.
seems like this is the first I've heard of all of this, and I haven't heard like in what's his name situation with Laura what's his name?
Lauren and David.
Yeah, I haven't heard like with David's situation, we heard about the social media thing affecting them, where this is the first I've heard about everything going on with Alex, and I haven't seen it affecting the filming. So I would guess if they ended up together and they ended up married, they would be finding out about that stuff now with all of us.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that everything might have came out at the reunion because I think this story would be a lot bigger than it is. But like you said, didn't you say that last reunion one of her questions came up? Or like some of the things that she was reporting on came up later in the reunion or something like that?
I did
So
say
I'm
that.
hoping it gets traction. I just haven't seen it being reported on, but hopefully, you know, we get a lot of content creators like Grace Report hopping on it. Sloan, even, I don't care. Like, just throw everybody in the mix. This needs to be known. This needs to be known, and this man needs to be accounted for. I mean, we were so upset about Steven last season and how weird he was. This is weird, weirder. Like,
yeah.
And these men all seem fine and dandy, but then, you know, you find out a few things. It's funny because last season you liked Trevor, and then we found out all this crap about Trevor. And then this season we're like, oh, Alex seems okay. We liked Mason, but we're like, oh, okay. Alex
I didn't really like Alex. I mean, he seemed okay. He didn't seem like a predator.
Yeah, he didn't. He didn't give me any red flags. Yeah. You know, not like, I mean, David gave me red flags right off the rip. I was like, oh gosh, this is the new Andrew.
User alien is now stationary, so they're allowed to comment now, and they feel so validated. So I'm guessing that they, well, yes, that's what they said earlier, that they knew that they couldn't stand him. So yeah, this is the reason. You have good intuition, user alien. Thank you for waiting to comment until you are safe and stationary.
Yeah.
We're glad you're safe.
Yeah.
So should we trolley on?
We should. Let's
do it.
Do we want to go to Fabio or do we? I guess we could start off with them because my favorites. Let me pull up.
They're still your favorite?
Then, well, no, I'd say Taylor and Danielle are now my favorite after that Christmas photo shoot. But
it was so cute that she wore her dress too. Like they wore the same outfit. But yeah, we'll get there. Actually, let's save them for last because they're my favorite.
Yeah, so I do also like Fabio and Monica. I just don't see a lot of them. So
user alien asked, "Did he actually hurt some?" Are you driving again? I'm guessing someone. I don't mean to pick on you two. We really
yeah. You're one of our regular commenters. We're not.
I am making a strong someone. Yes, I'm making a strong interpretation that he did actually hurt someone. I haven't seen him write on a text message to somebody.
Not Fabio.
Not Fabio.
Actually, I'm gonna take him off the screen.
Yes. I haven't seen him write on a text message or anything to anyone or in a paper actually admitting to doing wrongdoing, but he's walked around the edge just about enough that I think it can be implied that he's done this at least once. I think more times.
I mean, if you think about it, all those girls at his house, for what other reason?
If he's trying to morally justify and forgetting about the law that someone can do that to someone when they're sleeping, I think he did that a few times, more than a few times.
And just because like he says that they were sleeping or whatever doesn't mean that they don't know it happened too. Like they might not know it happened, but at the same time, unless he like, you know, incapacitated them, like slipped them something, he doesn't actually know that they don't know. What if they woke up during and there's, you know, and they just kind of froze? A lot of people say that when they are assaulted, they like come out of their bodies sometimes, or they just freeze and don't know what to do, or pretend like it didn't happen, or just like stay quiet. So like, how does he know that this person doesn't know what happened to them?
Yeah.
And
I don't know. I just feel like even if you were completely passed out, like sometimes you feel different feelings or pain, or, you know, even if it's not excruciating, you feel you feel things down there after you have intercourse. And so I could not imagine waking up with the question, you know, sorry if any of this is triggering to anybody too, but I couldn't imagine waking up
that's
with
true.
that feeling and having the question, did something happen to me, and not be able to know that answer. It's terrible. It's terrible. He's just disgusting. That's a possibility, I suppose. User alien.
Yeah, I guess one thing we didn't touch on was that he was explaining, I guess, this is all alleged. This is still all alleged, but it's been alleged that he was also telling one of these girlfriends that the kinds of porn he looks up, he puts young in front of anything and he gets young stuff. And the date that he went on, that there was a 14-year-old, 13, 14-year-old around that was wearing like a certain outfit, like jeans and a crop top and like tennis shoes and stuff. And he looked at his date and was like, you should dress more like that. And that would just give me, I mean, I hate saying the ick.
I would have ran so far away.
And I run so far away.
To get away.
To get away from Alex. Hey.
Oh, man. You're welcome, guys, for that one. We're here to entertain.
That was our music video.
That's as close as y'all are gonna get.
That's all. That should be our outro. Our outro is and I ran.
Is it Fabio's turn now?
Yeah, let's get on to Fabio. Other than throwing pepperonis at pizzas, they did actually have an engagement shoot, and I thought it was interesting that the sister is a photographer and that she is the one that shot the shoot, and she was a 180 compared to the last time we saw her. She seemed like he's really growing on her. I guess her and Monica had a couple of conversations about Joey and basically this whole relationship. So maybe we just caught Monica on a bad day. So at least that's what I'm hoping. But she did seem a little key jealous when we last saw her. So I'm glad that she was able to put that all behind her and be their photographer. And she said that she noticed while they were having their session that they seemed like they were really actually into each other.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Yeah, I'm glad that the sister reassured Joey that he didn't do anything wrong on their meeting, because I was wondering if his little joke that he made offended her, even though she has really thin skin and she was offended by it. But she reassured him that she wasn't upset with anything that he did, that she was just more so trying to be protective. And again, user alien said not the pizza. I know.
It's the most memorable scene to me from these two, honestly. What about you, Brooke?
I agree. I don't have a whole lot going on in my head with them. I just really don't. Like, and the sister thing, it doesn't do much for me. I mean, whose sister this season is not pissed off about something? Let's be real. So
honestly,
that's not even a thing.
This was the season of over opinionated sisters. Like, put them all away.
Yeah.
Joe said his suit pissed me off. It was off-colored. Which one?
I do remember an outfit that he wore in some of these episodes where he had this tropical shirt underneath. I was feeling that outfit, though. I'm not gonna lie.
I kind of like some of his little weird outfits, but you know,
the wedding one that he picked out. Okay, so I don't know if you did this time, Anne, but something that Anne and I kind of do when we watch Love is Blind is we sort of disassociate during the try-ons. I don't know what happens to my brain, but it's like, finally, time to take a break from all of this. I don't know what those men picked out. So I'm gonna take your word for it, Joe. I'm gonna keep this up here so everyone else can see it. I don't have any opinion about it.
You know what? I actually do remember that I liked his suit when he originally. Okay, I do remember actually this. So usually I dissociate, especially when it comes to the men, because I do like to look at the dresses that the women pick. But he did have like a purple suit, which I thought was really cool color. In fact, I think you would have really liked it. If
I like purple. See, I don't even know what you're talking.
It was like a purple blue suit, almost kind of similar to your wedding color blue, but more purpley. But
Yeah.
he came out in that, and I was like, "Oh, this is so nice! I never see like this color." It was much better than Brett's all white nonsense. But he came out in that, and I was like, "Awesome!" And then he was torn between two jackets, one that matched the pants. So I know what you're saying, Joe. It didn't piss me off, but I know exactly what you're saying. And then the jacket that he ended up going with was like a few shades lighter and a little bit more gray, and the pants were still purpley. And I was like,
Not
so
great.
yeah,
Okay.
he had I liked it better when it was more matchy. And I don't know if that's exactly what he went with. I guess we'll see at the wedding. But yeah, you'll see a suit at the wedding. So
Yeah, that's why I feel like that's why I just don't care. I
yeah.
did take a glance up when the women were, each one of them were very distinct about this is the one. So I looked up during those moments, but I didn't
Mhm.
see a man try on a pant. I'll be honest with y'all.
I will say, now that we're on the topic of the dresses and stuff, I did love Virginia's dress. I thought she looked gorgeous, and I loved Sarah's dress. I thought they looked amazing on her. I realized then I'm like, okay, body. I mean, I know she looked great in her reveal dress or whatever, but that
Yeah.
wedding dress on her looked stunning.
Yeah, she has a great figure.
Oh, she does. I was like, she's got a
Yeah.
gorgeous figure.
Yeah.
Anyways, so
Again, with these two, I mean, my biggest thing with them is Shane 2.0. I agree. I think we brought this up last season or last episode a little bit too, that he has that. He just
yeah,
gives Shane totally.
he
Um,
sounds like him a lot, just
a
with
lot, a
long
lot.
hair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even worse than him. But I'm not seeing passion with these two. I'm not seeing
No.
romance and sparks, and I'm sad for that because they seem to have one of the most authentic, easy, just real kind of connections, and that they genuinely have a liking for each other. But I don't
Yeah.
know right now if it goes beyond liking.
No,
Even
and I
at their
think
final dinner or whatever, they were all going back and forth about, oh, I like that you communicate and you're a good reciprocator and I'm a reciprocator. And it's just weird. It's not giving magnetic draw that you should have to your husband, especially after 3 weeks.
I can agree with that. It does feel like they're just besties, like
Yeah.
they're just having a great time together because all you see them is laughing. But then again, we don't see much of them. So I'm hoping that there is a lot more romance behind the scenes. I mean, they've never even talked about hooking up or anything. I got more
No.
talk from Amy and what's his face about birth control than anything romantic between these two. So I see what you're saying with that. Although I don't see a lot of romance happening with like almost any of the couples
Anyone.
this season.
Yeah.
But maybe that's by design. But
Yeah, I've said they aren't really followed, so maybe we just can't see it in the best relationships start as friends. Maybe. I agree that the best relationships do start as friends, maybe. But
I don't know if I'd put a marriage on.
I would not marry my friend before we've crossed the line of more than that, you know? But I
Yeah.
agree. I want to marry my best friend. Well, I'm married to my best friend. Me
So
and my
say, girl,
husband
what do you mean?
were together for 9 years, and we have a great friendship before we got married. But I would have never married him just because we were friends.
Yeah, Brooke's the opposite of me. I married like real quick.
Yeah, and
On a
got
whim.
married in 9 weeks, and I got married in 9 years.
Dead ass. I should have never got married before her. It was probably a crime in itself, more so than what Alex might be doing. I don't know. I had no business.
You did fine.
I had no business getting married before her.
Were you scared to tell me that you were gonna get married?
No.
Okay.
I don't think I thought about it, honestly. Now that I think about it, I probably should have been, but I don't think you're the kind that
But I'm
I don't
not
think you're the
mean.
kind
I'm not a mean friend.
Well, I don't think you're the kind that's like her sister, like, it should have been me first.
Yeah.
I
I do distinctly remember when you told me, I was like, now I'm going to have some questions. It's not because I don't support you or love you, but I just have a couple questions.
honestly. And you did have questions, but
Yes,
not
but I
many.
was a ride or die bitch at the end of it. So
I think you were like a lot of people when they actually met Dean and you asked like 3 questions, you're like, okay, he's fine.
Yeah.
He's better than a lot of what she's seen before. So let's just be okay with this one because it could get a lot worse from here.
I mean, either way, I really do trust you, and I trust even if you make a bad decision. I mean, I support you either way, but I thought you made
Annulments are there.
pretty much 9 weeks. I mean, let's be very real. Anne and her husband, they talked to each other on the phone for like
It was
9
Love
months.
is Blind, basically, yeah.
For like 9 months, they talked to each other on the phone, but it was a long distance thing.
Because of COVID, though. I was supposed to meet him the week of COVID, and then I had to cancel my flight. And then I was like, well, this probably isn't going to actually make it through COVID. And it did. And then, after that, we got married like less than a year later after we met in person for the first time. We each met each other's families once.
Yeah. And which is not less than a year later, Anne. It was like less than a quarter.
Well, we met for the first time in September, and by August of the next year, we were married. So it was
but you guys met for the first time, and then still some distance went by the time you guys really saw each other.
How many meetups did we? I know I've counted before. I think it was like 6 meetups. 6
and you guys had a real like you were married and then you moved in. It wasn't.
Yeah, I had to move down here. I mean, but I will say a lot of our deal was military. Like we couldn't really live together unless we were married, kind of thing. Like we could, but we wouldn't have gotten the benefit of BAH and all those things. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's basically like a housing allowance. There's like certain benefits when it comes to military being married, so that's what it is. So
lots of benefits.
Yeah.
And lots of sacrifices.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think utilitarianism is happening here. It's definitely a net negative. I'm dead right now.
I feel like it.
Stepford wife.
Were you a purchased bride? I mean, tomato.
Yeah, we'll just. It's a mystery.
We'll just leave that there.
I
love that. That was good.
That's my favorite comment ever, PF, so far. Thank you.
Ever.
We've been doing this over a year now, and you worked your way right to the top
tier. Top tier. Oh man, I got tears in my eyes. I wasn't prepared for that one.
Me neither. The way that we're telling your story is not selling you right now. Well, I guess it is selling you.
I think when I brought up the military benefits, that's what did it.
We're all dead, usually.
Oh man. I will ask Dean later
how much he paid for you. Yeah.
And I'm sure I've costed him some.
I mean, it does all make sense now, right? Because your dad, I mean, he was prepared with his contract.
I've never seen my parents so fine with something. They let me make a lot of dumb decisions, but they seem pretty excited about this one.
Probably because Dean came with a contract for his purchase.
They're probably just happy I moved out of their house. I mean, at the time they had a full house of kids. They were
True.
all of their children that have hit 30s were still in their home. I mean,
grandkids, adult kids.
They still like my poor parents. Anyways, let's get back to these people.
Daniel and Taylor, we're gonna be here all damn night.
This isn't about me.
And my
we'll
child have like a let's chat soon with you guys. I think we are gonna make like a members only content soon. So we'll probably have a little chat more about ourselves because we really do enjoy talking with you all so very much. You're so funny. Yes, User Alien wants to join.
Yes, we could do a Q&A where we talk about our personal. Not totally, but we'll get into some things that we're a little bit more comfortable on YouTube now. So
especially if we did a members stream, I think that would be even better for us to feel okay with what we want to share. So
then we can talk about me being a child bride in my
a purchased bride,
purchased child bride at 27, 28 years old.
Anyways, we gotta get going. It's
Anyway,
getting late.
So basically, I did like Monica's dress, but I did think it was similar to Taylor's dress. So they were even wearing the same damn dress to me. And
I agree. One was just a poofy and one was not.
Yeah. But I'm glad that Joey now gets along with her family. I kind of think they're gonna say yes. I don't know what you think, but
I mean, they keep showing her hesitating at the altar.
but I think it's a nothing burger. I mean, how much are we giving a nothing burger?
Definitely be a nothing burger. I worry about the lack of romance. It hasn't been brought up in a concerning way, so I guess I'm probably just making it up. But yeah, they'll probably get married. I think a lot of these couples are going to get married.
One last thing before we move on, because I honestly don't have much else to say about these people. They're pretty damn non-problematic now that the sister is on board. But can I get zoomed in anymore? Hold on.
I think if you just click on it, yeah, or if you have a scrolly rolly, you can roll it in.
Is this man's watch falling off of his hand, or is his hand just like end right here? Like I don't know.
It does look a little strange. Yeah, usually it's up a little further on your wrist there.
I just wanted to make sure I wasn't going nuts there.
It wasn't having a stroke or anything.
I think I already had a
It does
stroke.
look like it's falling off a little bit, but
I think I had a stroke with that mail order bride comment.
Me too.
Anyway, so let's move on to them. The couple of the hour, Taylor and Daniel. I think this is a definite yes for me. I know that they teased some stuff in the trailer, but it really just looked like she was getting emotional with her dad, like, oh my God, I love you, and I'm about to get married. I love you, like kind of thing. Like the way she talked about him in an interview, it just seems like they are married. And that's just my guess. I don't know for sure. I didn't look up their marriage certificate, but I did think that their little Christmas photo shoot was precious. I love their ornament idea, especially since they did get married around this time that year. And I loved what he said. He takes 9 months to prepare for these things. Because I'm like, that's how long I take to prepare for my Christmas presents.
It's true.
This is literally, I mean, yeah, we got Mr. and Mrs. Claus here. I mean,
so that's what I thought that they were going to be dressed up as when they did their Christmas photo shoot. And then they come out in these outfits. And my heart melted. I thought that was the cutest thing ever.
Their reveal outfits, how precious. I wonder if, I mean, it looks like a Christmas dress. I mean, I don't blame them for reusing these outfits. It was precious.
Yeah, and they don't match, but they do look good.
No, but it's fine. It goes with what happened. It goes with them. I think that they're just the cutest thing. And I love her fashion. Every time she is wearing stuff, like when they went on that little ice skating day, I loved her coat. And
I even loved her old lady outfit for the old lady bachelorette parties. I thought she looked precious.
I skipped over the bachelor or bachelorette parties, but basically the boys did another sports type thing because, you know, they can't. They're either doing a sports thing or sitting outside around a fire or something. The only time that they ever showed these boys doing anything risky was when Zach had a mommy issue about strippers. Right. And then they wanted to antagonize this man by putting him in a burlesque show. But ever since then, we haven't seen none of that. So it's mainly just been sports events and outside fires.
Some kind of male masculine activity. But I mean, that's kind of the typical thing, I feel like, for bachelor parties.
Yeah, but I think they're gonna say yes. Their families are just so cute. I love that she had both moms there, and they were both just like in awe of her dress. She looked amazing in that. I did love the buttons down the back, and you know, it was very princessy of her, and I don't know. I just think this is a yes. I don't see a lot of romance there, but then again, we don't really see much of them either. So maybe there is more romance behind the scenes. I see a little bit more chemistry between them though than I do Joey and Monica. I think that, I don't know. I just love them. I love them.
I love them too. I think that they're perfect. I'm really glad that they got past her little overthinking hurdle with everything on Instagram, because I think they're carrying the love narrative for this season. I think their families, just when you think about marriage in a in a sense of what a marriage is. It is, yes, two people joining together, but a lot of times it's the families as well. And we never get the opportunity to see the families meet each other before the wedding day. A lot of times, because of
Yeah.
the way the show is, they all meet each other on the wedding day, and that's fine. But I really thought that seeing their families, especially with such closely shared values and such like their marriages are so long standing on both sides, their parents' marriages. So between Taylor's parents and Daniel's parents, they have over 80 years of marriage together, of wisdom to share with these two. How amazing. What a gift.
Yeah, it's so precious. I love their whole situation.
If
He's
anything
really,
comes out about Daniel, I'll be heartbroken. I kind of agree because he just gives me Wolf of Wall Street vibes. He just looks a little bit like he's up to no
yeah.
good. And I agree. I would be really sad to hear if something came out about him. He's just about the only one other than Joey Fabio that hasn't had a
A scandal. Well, and Devin. Devin hasn't anything come out about him.
true scandal-free Devin. That man is like Barack Obama himself.
Scandal-free Devin. He really is. He's like basketball Obama.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh, and that little gift, those gifts that he got for Virginia, we didn't bring those up, but I thought that those were really thoughtful and cute. He got her a basketball with their last name on it, and then jerseys with both their names on it, and team whatever the heck his name is.
Well, at least if it don't work out, you can keep the basketball.
At least.
At least. Or she can pop it in the divorce or the prenuptial divorce. Is that what it is? A prenup?
It's a prenup, not a prenup divorce.
Sorry, guys. It's been a long filming day. This was not supposed to go on this long.
Yeah, it is getting late over here.
We're about to be done with this because we're on these people and there's not much else to say other than we just ship them. But
yeah, thank you all for sticking with us. It's really been fun to have you here.
It has. It has. Anything else you want to mention about them before we go?
I mean, no, I'm sure that there's more to say, but it's all good things. I mean, I could sit here and gush about them, I guess, for 5 or so more minutes. I wonder though how you all feel. You've all suffered through, or I'm just kidding. You've been very entertained by us, I'm sure. But you've all stuck around for quite some time. I wonder if you guys have anything that you want to talk about when it comes to Daniel and Taylor, or maybe any of the other couples, since we are thinking about getting out of here probably in the next couple of 10 minutes or so.
Yeah. I mean, I did think their ice skating date was cute. I mean, I love their little ornament idea. I don't know. I just ship them. I don't have anything else really to say on really any of the. I think we really went through it today. So,
yeah, I think they're perfect. I think their faith aligns. I think their parents are going to help for their faith to align. PF wants to give you a public apology, but I'm not supporting this public apology.
I don't know if that's really an apology if it's sorry for calling you out. I don't know how I feel about that.
PF, we're going to invite you to the members only stream.
Do you hope to see me back next week? Meaning, like, you hope I'm back? Like, you think I'm gonna get mailed back or something? Like, or are you just hoping you're gonna be here next week? I need to know what you mean.
We're coming back. You didn't hurt
This is encrypted, okay? Are we friends?
Are we? Watch it be Steph. No. Yeah, you're fine. I don't think you did anything wrong here. In fact, you truly brightened our day.
Sorry, that just made my night. I can't wait to tell my husband about it.
Yes, and I think we should all talk about it, and we're gonna invite you exclusively to our members stream so that you can ask these tough questions.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. We are friends. Thank you, PF. I'm glad you clarified that. Because we're friends or is it of or I'd love to be? I'd love to be. Well,
some of y'all been hitting the bottle, huh? I'm hitting the bottle next time I come. I'm coming drunk.
Yeah, Let's have a wine night next time. I think honestly, especially when we go over like the weddings and reunion, we might need a little bottle of wine.
I think so. Next week we have the wedding. Speaking of that, and the weddings air on Friday at their regular drop time, and then the reunion is airing on Saturday. It's not going to be live, but it's going to air. Not what do they call it? Just at the same time. It's going to air live.
Yeah, they're just gonna
We're gonna stream it at a certain time. It's not just gonna drop. So I know in the past, Anne and I have kind of skipped the wedding episodes in favor of just doing one episode that covers the wedding and the reunion, because the weddings usually are pretty straightforward. It's kind of a yes or no, and if there's a little bit of drama, it just happens with one person. So
yeah, I mean, unless this wedding special blows my mind, I don't see us doing anything.
Yeah, so actually, PF, you may not see us back exactly a week from now on Friday, like we have been the last 2 weeks. We're thinking about holding out and waiting for the reunion to drop before we come back and talk about the weddings. So don't be scared if you don't see us, but we will be here either on Saturday or either on Sunday or possibly on Saturday. So they won't have Alex then if it's next week. That's something I'm concerned about as well. I know they usually do film it pretty close to when it airs. I don't think they're doing a live thing. I think they learned their lesson from it being live. But
I wonder if they're going to film it this weekend.
It could. I'm thinking this weekend. It's going to be. I think it's going to be this weekend.
And I don't know if the news will get that viral by then. I don't even know if Alex and them are going to the reunion.
That's true. Right now, there's no reason for Alex to attend that reunion.
I hope
unless they want to give that love triangle a little bit more of a spotlight, but they really tied all that up at the cast party.
Yeah. Thank you, PF. Now my hopes are down.
I know,
man. I'm just not winning today. But, I wouldn't hold my breath,
but it's really slim.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't hold my breath, but maybe he does an interview and somebody calls them out on it, which I am hoping for. Honestly. So, but anyways, it's been long enough. We're almost at the 2-hour mark, and that's way longer than we need. So
yeah, I don't think we've ever done a 2-hour live, even with covering 6 episodes. So we thank you all for being here, because I'm sure that part of the reason that we've stuck around and had so many long drawn out conversations is because you all have been here to chat with us, which is so fun. So I'm happy that you're all here.
Yeah, it makes it a lot more entertaining for sure.
Yeah. Anne and I entertain each other pretty well. We've done it for a long time, but it is nice to have you all here to help give us a laugh, especially my number one comment of all time from PF today. So
yeah, thank you so much. It's still visible. The damn comment's still visible to me.
I'm taking a picture of it. It's going to be visible forever.
I know, I might put that on my Snapchat, like when your ChickChatters call you out live.
All right, you all. Well, thank you so much for popping in. Thanks for watching, and we hope that you all have a wonderful weekend and do fun things. And we will see you after the weddings.
Bye,
Mr. Alien.
Bye, guys. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Definitely click that share link.
Click that.
And copy it. That's it.
Boom.
And then nothing. You don't got to do nothing else.
Go on about your merry day after that.
Yep. And definitely, if you like us enough, share us with your friends. Don't be spreading rumors about me, though, PF. Don't tell your friends that I'm a purchased bride, please.
Yes, let them learn that for themselves.
Yeah, let them figure that out when they watch this. But yeah,
all right.
Reduce, reuse, recycle, Rihanna, and y'all have a good one.
Goodbye.
Be safe out there. There's Alex out there still.
There's Alex out there.
He's still